Hey guys, welcome to TFL's coverage of the LA Auto Show, and we're starting here with a 911 with Pirelli Off-Road Scorpions. Yep, that's right, this is the new 911 Dakar, the first off-road Porsche since Porsche won the race. Gosh, it must be decades ago now. And what makes this car unusual, of course, is that it's an off-road 911. So in this video, I'm going to give you a complete walk around. Hopefully, if they show up with the keys, we'll show you the inside, because right now the car is locked. And we'll talk about what this vehicle is all about. And of course, we'll get to that one as well. So let's start with this car, and let's talk about what makes it off-road worthy. Now, it is obviously an off-roader, or at least a rally car meant to take on the deserts of Africa. And we'll get to the price, we'll get to the 0 to 60 speeds, but under the hood, or at least back here, is a 3-liter straight six that puts out 473 horsepower and will propel this 911 from 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds, according to Porsche. Now, you probably knew that because that's what 911s do, but what makes this unique, of course, is this fixed spoiler back here, which makes it a little bit more off-roady. But as you can tell, for all you eagle-eye viewers, you'll see that it does sit a little bit higher. And for 911 fans, you know that there's a lift mechanism you can buy for the front of a car to get you over speed bumps. Well, Porsche engineers took that from the front and added it to the back, giving this car a maximum height of 7.5 inches. And if you have one of those lift devices in your 911, it usually comes down at about 15 miles an hour. Not in this car. You can go all the way up to 105 miles an hour in its highest off-road mode. And of course, being an off-roader, you have to have the requisite recovery hook, which this has. Now, some of the other things that make it unique, it has, of course, different off-road modes, since it is an off-roader. And unfortunately, it's a limited edition vehicle, so Porsche is building only 2,500 of these, which seems like a lot, but I've got a sinking feeling that this car is going to sell like hotcakes in places like, well, Saudi Arabia and North Africa. Now, here in America, I'm not sure. I've kind of been monitoring the Porsche community, and about half of them are super excited by the Dakar, and about the other half are kind of like meh. I don't want my Porsche to be an off-roader. I want it to be the most competent on-roader. Now, in terms of price, we are looking at a breathtaking $223,000, which would be, you know, a lot of money in itself, but it doesn't end there, because I'm guessing that, like a GT3, you're going to have to pay at least $50,000 to the dealer to even get an allocation for one of these. So if you want your ultimate off-road 911, I think realistically you're looking at $300,000, of course, depending on what the economy does in the near future. So now you may be wondering about this one. This is a special Rally Sport livery edition, and for those of you who followed Porsche when it was racing Dakar, you know that this livery would have been a Rothmans, which is a cigarette company. And of course, in today's world, cigarette companies are not cool. Maybe if they sold pot, it'd be cool, I don't know. But Porsche replaced Rothmans with Rough Roads, but kept the same livery. So, you know, if you really want people to know that you're in an off-road Porsche, this is the one. It's got some pretty cool details, such as the off-road lights with this off-road rack. Of course, your obligatory Max Tracks, because gosh, how could you not have an off-roader without Max Tracks on the roof? Maybe these aren't Max Tracks, maybe these are Porsche designed. Of course, they're Porsche designed. I should have known that, because look, they're much shorter than a typical Max Track. And Porsche jerry cans. So on the inside, there's some unique colors. Car, unfortunately, it's locked, so we can't get into it. But if you look, there are some unique colors for the 911 Dakar. And hopefully, I was hoping that they would come around and unlock them, but so far no good. Now, I just got a press release from Pirelli. They're really proud of these Scorpion all-terrains because apparently even on-road Porsche engineers were surprised by just how much grip this car offered. In fact, around the ring, It's just a little bit slower than, let's say, a 10-year-old, or I think it was a 10-year-old, maybe it was a 20-year-old GT3, which is pretty impressive for a car with tires that are, meant more for the dirt than they are for the road. I'm kind of torn, I'm kind of torn about both these cars, because for me, recently with supply chain issues, Porsche has become, especially 911s, try going to your local Porsche dealership and buying a 911. You won't be able to get one. You might be able to get a Taycan, you might be able to get a Cayenne, but you certainly won't get a 911. And the model itself has become kind of unobtainium. And the only company that I know that can make money by not selling cars is Ferrari. And I worry about Porsche because I'm a huge fan that at some point what's going to happen is if the country or if the world goes into recession, all of a sudden there are going to be all these people who have put down orders for 911s and Caymans and Boxsters that they can't get, and now they don't have the money to pay for. So there's a shot of the interior. So we'll see what happens. But is this the beginning of the end, or just the beginning of this, or the start of something new for Porsche? Hard to say, but we are certainly living in interesting times. I would love, of course, to drive this to see what this is like. America has a reputation for having incredible off-roading, but this car, for the most part, has been designed for more WRC racing or Dakar style racing, maybe even like the Baja style racing, then Moab. So, you can tell there's a skid plate here. Let me show you. So you have a skid plate. It's metal, but the approach and departure angle is, just a little bit over 7.5 inches of ground clearance isn't great. So it's not really a rock crawler, it's more of dirt road racer. I think that's a fair assessment of this car. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of the new 911 Dakar. Is this something that you've dreamed of, or is this something that has just become a little too far out there for the brand? And if you're wondering, I just saw this. Sorry, I'm going to get in your shot. Sorry about that. If you're wondering, there's a lot of people here. I'm going to get by them. Sorry. If you're wondering what the original one was, here it is. Here's the original Rothmans. Remember I was saying it had the Rothmans on it, so there you can see it. This looks like it has a lot more than 7.5 inches of ground clearance. And I believe this is the car that actually won Dakar back in the day. But anyway, there is the original one. There is a new one. I'm really curious to see what happens. And speaking of recovery, look at that. That is some old school recovery aids. But then, of course, this is a race car. And what Porsche, of course, has going for it is that they build very, very high-quality cars. So if there's any brand that can take the off-road world and take it by the scruff and actually keep a car that will stay together, and not only stay together, but actually thrive, it's probably Porsche. So stay tuned for more coverage from the LA Auto Show. Once again, this is Roman saying, see you guys next time, hopefully very soon. There's a bunch of other cars that are here that I'm about to go film. Ciao.